Friends, another week is in the books, and I can confidently tell you that there is a slew of new horror information and news that came out in the last 7 days. Let's go through it. First and foremost, correcting my initial horror news video, Bambi the Reckoning was released Friday last week. I had bad information, or maybe I read about a limited release somewhere else, but it went worldwide theaters on Friday the 25th, and it is being touted as the best twisted childhood film to date. And I'm really excited to see it because genuinely, Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, I think, had just such a straight-faced severity to it that it was dead serious, and I love it. In Bambi the Reckoning, a grief-stricken mutant deer, Bambi, is out for revenge against the people who killed his mom. When I am super interested in watching something, I don't even watch trailers for it, but from reading about it, I think that the two people that it's after, the deer is after, hit the mom and crash their car. I think it hinges around a car wreck, not a intentional moment of hunting. The Home, starring Pete Davidson, came out on also the 25th, worldwide theaters, and it follows Max, who is a caretaker, a new caretaker at a retirement home, and comes to find out that the residents and other caretakers have some kind of sinister secret. Now, I have not seen Pete Davidson in anything aside from Saturday Night Live. I thought he was really funny on Saturday Night Live, but comedians don't always make the jump to horror gracefully. That being said, again, I'm not watching a trailer for it because I am interested to see. I want to know. I want to give him a chance. Unlike someone in the comment section of the article I read about Home in, which says, unless it's a snuff film, I'm not going to watch anything starring Pete Davidson, which I think is super harsh. Funny, but really harsh. In select theaters, House on Eden was released last week, and it actually stars internet sensation KallMeKris and another one like Spooky Celina or something like that. And it's a found footage about paranormal internet investigators, actually called Chris and Celina. So they didn't even change their names, maybe to avoid confusion on set. Or maybe it's part of like a greater universe, like maybe they are genuinely playing themselves in the movie. Either way, they're ghost hunters, and they encounter a malevolent ancient spirit residing in an abandoned house deep in the woods. I like found footage. Basically, if it's found footage, I will give it a try, and I really like KallMeKris. So, yeah, I'm in for that one. It's only in select theaters, so I imagine it's going to come to streaming fairly soon. Our final theatrical release last week was Ick, which is an alien invasion satire from Joseph Kahn. Reading about it, I felt like I should know who Joseph Kahn is because it's like in the description of the movie. It turns out he has mostly directed pop culture documentaries and music videos, aside from 3 movies. One is like Fast and the Furious, but it's motorcycles starring Ice Cube. The other one I have no idea. And then one horror comedy called Detention. So I haven't seen Detention, but it does have some pretty famous people in it, so I'm surprised it went under my radar. But it's called Ick. It's supposed to be gross, and that is a big flag for me to want to watch it. I love, especially if they stick with practical effects. I really hope, fingers crossed, practical effects. On to video on demand releases, things you can watch right now from your computer or phone or streaming service, whatever device you prefer. Don't even have to leave the house for them. First, we've got Bait from Uncorked, which is, it's kind of like, in my opinion, they're on par with IFC Midnight. They make really good, typically not mind-blowing visually or, no big name actors typically, but they're always, almost always, solid movies that are worth watching if you are a horror fan. Bait, on their way to a family get-together, the Herring family are in a bad car accident, waking in a terrifying dark basement. Something is in there with them, caged, and it craves human flesh. With a mysterious overseer aiding the creature like a pet, the family must work together to find a way to defeat them both and make their escape. I'm immediately into it. Like I said, I typically hold uncorked films with an immediate, moderate regard. Not necessarily like I guarantee it's going to be good, but I'm willing to believe that it will be. And then it's a creature feature. My favorite. We've got Dangerous Animals when Zephyr, a savvy and free-spirited surfer, is abducted by a shark-obsessed serial killer and held captive on his boat. She must figure out how to escape before he carries out a ritualistic feeding to the sharks below. Awesome. I genuinely might, when I'm done recording this and I have to edit it, I might bring my laptop over to my couch behind my magic screen back there and rent and watch that one, because I have galeophobia. I am petrified of sharks. And you might think, well, it's not a phobia. Phobias have to be irrational. And sharks, if you're in the ocean, pretty scary. I don't have to be in the ocean for them to be scary. I can be in an unlit swimming pool. And I have, as an adult, been a little panicky when a light went out in a swimming pool. I had to get out. True story. As a grown-ass man. So it genuinely is a phobia for me. That's why I love shark movies. Even if they're not very good, they still get me really good. 40 Acres came to video on demand, and in a post-apocalyptic world with food scarcity, a black family of Canadian farmers descended from American Civil War migrants defend their homestead against cannibals trying to seize their resources. Now, that description there, straight from IMDb, doesn't really tell the whole story. The apocalypse which occurred is a virus wiped out all animal life, all of it. So there's a book called Tender is the Flesh. I actually might have it on the counter. No, I think it's in my office. But anyway, Tender is the Flesh. The government claims that all animals are now infected with a disease that kills people. And that's how they get laws to pass legal cannibalism and human breeding for food. So immediately, because I like that book, so typically, I don't care for movies where just evil people are being evil. I like monsters and demons and aliens and creatures and sharks. I just don't need to watch people be evil in fiction as well as on the news every day. But my affinity for that book does have me perked up for 40 Acres. I'm adding it to my short list of things to watch in the near future. Ghost Killer released. After being possessed by a ghost of a vengeful hitman Kudo, college student Fumika Matsuoka agrees to help him finish his quest for vengeance from beyond the grave. Isn't that basically exactly the plot of that Marvel show Hitmonkey, was it? He's not possessed by the ghost, but the ghost is like attached to him in some way, and he does vengeance and stuff. I am super interested in this because I think it's going to be whenever a movie with a female protagonist does awesome hand-to-hand and firearm, blade, blunt, whatever kind of combat, just like mixed, angry Krav Maga style combat. I call him Jane Wick because it's like a John Wick alike. And from what I've seen, haven't watched a trailer because again I'm really interested in it. I think I will really like Ghost Killer. Barely horror, I will say. This sounds like an action movie to me, not a horror movie, but it's got just enough being possessed by a ghost. Yeah, worth it. Monster Island released exclusively for Shudder, and it's set in the 1942 Pacific. A Japanese soldier and a British prisoner of war are stranded on a deserted island, hunted by a deadly creature. Two mortal enemies must come together to survive the unknown. Do you remember that Dennis Quaid movie called Enemy Mine? That is exactly what I'm picturing here, but instead of a sci-fi drama, it is a creature feature horror, which all the better. If you are subscribed to Shudder, I don't understand why you wouldn't watch this. Like, I don't know how good it's going to be. Like, is it worth getting Shudder for? Like, burning your 7-day trial to see? I don't know, because I haven't seen it yet. But if you've got it, just watch it. This one I am equally psyched about and really nervous about. It's called Osiris. Special Forces commandos are abducted mid-operation by a mysterious spacecraft, and upon awakening, they find themselves prey to a relentless alien race in a fight for survival. Linda Hamilton is in it. OG Terminator badass Linda Hamilton. That's why I'm really excited for it. I like Linda Hamilton. Why I'm nervous about it is it sounds like a mockbuster of Predators, where killers are abducted to be hunted for sport. Like, exactly like that. So, with reserved enthusiasm, I will be watching that. And finally, released on video on demand, Et Tu. A director is driven to madness during a regional production of Julius Caesar. And it's a dark horror comedy. How could you have that be anything other than a comedy? Who would take that seriously, losing your mind for a regional production of Julius Caesar? And it's got Lou Diamond Phillips in it, who, oh man, was Lou Diamond Phillips in Bats? I'm not sure how often Lou Diamond Phillips has done horror, but he can definitely do crazy. Do you remember his character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I don't remember. It was Romero, was it? Definitely can do like way comedically intense crazy. So I don't know. That one's not on the short list. I might, if it's still rentable, I might just kind of wait for that to come to something I already subscribed to, but I'm not poo-pooing it. I think it has real potential to be very funny. Now, on to some announcements. Announcements in the horror sphere. We've finally got some good things to cover for the announcements section. First and foremost, Primitive War. In 1968 Vietnam, a recon unit known as Vulture Squad is sent to an isolated jungle valley to uncover the fate of a missing Green Beret platoon. They soon discover they are not alone. Now, obviously I'm going to watch this because it's got dinosaurs in it. That's why I watched the trailer. I'm like, you know what? I have to see the quality of the dinosaurs. I don't want it to be janky. It looks really good. It looks really good. This could easily become my movie of 2025. I won't get into my qualms with the Jurassic World, the 3 movies I've seen yet. Maybe the 4th one is good. I'm not going to a theater to see it. I'm waiting for that one to come to home. But they completely lost what made Jurassic Park and Lost World, and yes, Jurassic Park 3. I am a hardcore defender of Jurassic Park 3. I think people hate that movie way more than they need to. But Jurassic World and 2 and 3, maybe even 4, haven't seen it, but they completely squandered the goodwill of what the first 3 movies meant. Primitive War is the perfect answer to that, because Primitive War, I feel, is what Jurassic World wanted to be. Jurassic World had, I think, one moment where they kill a dinosaur, and it's actually from the book, the Jurassic Park book. It took 4 movies to make it in, but I think I can't remember his name, but in the book, he was, I think, South African guy. And he blows up a velociraptor with a rocket launcher. Primitive War looks dope. Watch the trailer, please. For me, I can't wait to watch that movie. Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard, the OG Ghostface killers, are reuniting to play Fazbear Entertainment co-founders Henry Emily and William Afton for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which will be coming out early December. I think it was December 4th or 5th. Whatever the first Friday in December is, that'll be when it's coming out. So that'll be fun to see the two OG Ghostface killer villains getting back together for another dynamic duo of bad dudes. Now, Predator Badlands has almost certainly been announced beforehand, but I actually just heard about it. And it was because of an article that came up discussing the relationship between the Yautja and the Weyland-Yutani android. It's like, it's Elle Fanning? Ellie? But she plays a Weyland-Yutani android that the Predator, like, carries around on his back, like C-3PO and Chewbacca in Empire Strikes Back. I believe November 7th is when Predator Badlands hits theaters, and to my knowledge, it's the first Predator movie where the Predator, from front to back, so it's about a young Predator outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally on his journey for the search of the ultimate adversary. Two cool things. The fact that it's got a Weyland android in it means it is firmly planted in the Aliens vs. Predator universe, and I would not be surprised, you heard it first here, maybe, I would not be surprised if there's a post-credit sequence teasing another Alien vs. Predator movie. Don't sue me if there's not, but do remember that I said it, if there is. Second point, this has to be the first Predator movie. I've seen everything with a xenomorph in it and everything with a Predator in it. Barring games, this has to be the first Yautja who is the protagonist of a movie. In the first AVP, bad movie, but she teams up with the Predator, who's like a supporting character for the latter half of it. Doesn't speak, barely supporting character. Bad movie. But I think this is the first like protagonist Yautja where they're the good guys of their own story ever, which is awesome. The reason I say barring video games is because in the 2011 AVP, there's a Predator campaign where obviously you are the protagonist. And then the 80s Aliens versus Predator game, the Predators like spoke English. They didn't actually speak. There was no voice lines for any of the characters, but it was a squad of like 3 humans and a squad of 3 different Predators that could play. Ooh. It was a side-scrolling beat-em-up AVP game, and the Predators were technically protagonists, but yeah, excluding video games, I think this is the first time it's happening. Final announcement for this news segment. Shudder at Comic-Con, I believe just 2 days ago, announced that they are making a film adaptation of The Mortuary Assistant, starring Willa Holland, who is from Arrow. She's the sister. I think Oliver Queen called her Speedy. I don't remember her actual name in the show, but her real name, Willa Holland. There's one photo from the film or set that I know of, and you can probably see it right there. I think that's pretty exciting. Again, if you've got Shudder, I don't know why you wouldn't watch it, but I'm definitely going to watch it. I think it's coming out 2026. It just gave the year. On to the Anniversaries section of the news. But first, kitten update. My big sweet teddy bear dog found 4 kittens and their mom, and I've had the mom spayed. She's recovered and she's been released. The 4 kittens I'm fostering, trying to find them homes, except for one, because I have officially decided that I'm keeping this guy. His name is Howler, because he is extremely vocal. I'm keeping him because he has just so strongly bonded with my male cat, my male Siamese. He's glued to his hip. He's so sweet with him. He's sweet with all of them, actually. 2 of them pretend to nurse on Domino, who is the Siamese male. The first time he did it, he was rightfully weirded out, but he's genuinely gotten used to it, and I think kind of likes it. I think he finds it comforting. It's kind of like when I had my old cat Samson. He used to come up on my chest, put his face in my beard, and then massage my chest and purr. Maybe it feels just like that to Domino. Maybe it's just like a nice feeling to be who these little creatures love. Howler is the runt, and he is, like I said, he just loves Domino that extra amount. So I will be keeping him. I think it's the right thing to do. But still, I'm fostering these 3 guys. Well, 2 guys and a girl. And if you want to help support them and also support me doing all this, go to patreon.com/horrorandcats. Actually, the behind the scenes video for this episode, how I prepped for recording this, is the last thing I uploaded on there. So you get behind the scenes thing. I do original horror stories. There are 3 original horror stories up there only on Patreon. You cannot get them anywhere else. Obviously more to come because I love writing, but it takes a long time to even write a short story for me because I'm doing a bunch of other things. I have a full-time job, believe it or not. I believe at the moment there are 30 videos up there. 1 comes out each week. So yeah, go get yourself some bonus content, some behind the scenes looks at all the things I do. And really genuinely, 1 Patreon supporter is a help because the kittens are still really small. So they're eating wet food. $4 goes a long way for wet food. Anyway, back to the news. And we're going to talk about anniversaries, big anniversaries. Well, I say big anniversaries. The first one we've got is the 10-year anniversary of Three-Headed Shark Attack. Sequel to Two-Headed Shark Attack, as you may have surmised. There's really no need for an explanation beyond that. It's a straight-to-DVD release from Asylum, which is the studio that specializes in mockbusters. Like, you've maybe not watched the movies because you just couldn't be bothered to put 90 minutes of your life into Atlantic Rim. I got curious. I'd never actually held up all of Asylum's releases to the real movie, but there's I think it's a Wikipedia page that shows you if it is a movie specifically not mocking, but aping, I think is the best way to put it. It's Asylum movies are what your mom says you have at home. You say you want to watch Pacific Rim. She says, we've got Pacific Rim at home, but it's Atlantic Rim. This prompted me to bring up that list on Wikipedia and look, and there are some names that are so similar, I don't know how it's legal. It is absurd. Really fun read. You should look it up. Anyway, Three-Headed Shark Attack. I think they're up to Five-Headed Shark Attack now. Maybe even 6. But I know I've seen 5-headed Shark Attack on. I'm pretty sure I've seen that recommended to me on Tubi because I'm just a content hoe. The Sharknado series is the most famous thing that Asylum has put out, I think. So I genuinely actually enjoy the Mega Shark Versus series. Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus was the first, to my knowledge, the first Asylum movie I ever saw. And it's not good, but it's good enough to watch and have a good time with friends laughing about. Asylum movies are built for Mystery Science Theater style viewing. Simple as that. The Devil's Rejects had its 20-year anniversary last week, which is the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses and follows the Firefly family's run from the law. Obviously, they are successful because after that, there's 3 from Hell, which is the 3rd Firefly family movie. But anyway, good job, Rob Zombie. 20 years. Congratulations. 25th anniversary for What Lies Beneath, which is a Harrison Ford supernatural horror thriller. The wife of Harrison Ford believes their lakeside home is haunted by a female ghost or that she's going nuts. And there are some genuinely really freaky things in there. I remember watching this before I had made my full conversion to horror. I was in my teens. Back then I watched everything. I watched comedies, I watched action, I watched horror. I just loved to go to the theater with my friends. I'd watch everything. But I think I rented that on I either rented it on VHS, aging myself, or it was on a TV channel and I knew it was coming on and I recorded it onto VHS so I could watch it later. Again, dating myself. But for a not fully fledged horror fan, yeah, it was pretty tense. It was creepy. What Lies Beneath is a good movie. Happy 25th. Day of the Dead celebrated its 40th anniversary last week, which is the third zombie, I'll go into why I'm doing air quotes, zombie apocalypse film. So you had Night of the Living Dead, you had Dawn of the Dead, and then you had Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is about basically the last remnants of humanity trying to figure out how to... Oh, they're doing all kinds of weird experiments. Like they're trying to teach the zombies morals, which are vaguely successful in some ways. The scientists are doing one thing, and the military guys have all gone crazy with power. Some of the most over-the-top, insane human acting in Day of the Dead. But why I put zombies in air quotes, zombie, any horror fan already knows this, but if you're just tuning in and you don't, zombies, the type of creature in the Romero series, they are referred to as ghouls. Zombie back in, 1968? 1968 was Night of the Living Dead? The word zombie was a voodoo word. It was like meant for the voodoo zombie, the kind where you blow stuff in their face and they become super susceptible to just influence, direction. They become mindlessly obedient. So that's what zombie meant back then. They were officially ghouls in the Romero series. Anyway. And finally, the 45th anniversary of prom night, where a high school senior prom, a masked killer stalks 4 teenagers who were responsible for the accidental death of a classmate 6 years previously. Now, the reason I love prom night is because that was before Leslie Nielsen had found his niche as being a a straight-faced, goofy guy, like, Naked Gun and Airplane and all that stuff. 3 years prior to prom night, he was in Day of the Animals, and in both movies, he is just a hilariously evil and or selfish bastard. Like in Day of the Animals, he is cartoonishly selfish. It's wild to see him not being just a goofball, but being cartoonishly evil. But yeah, he was also the angry father in prom night. There was a lot of movie news, but believe it or not, there is almost a similar number of gaming news bits that I thought are worth sharing. After delays, Killing Floor 3 was finally released. I believe it was the 24th, and it was released to, as of like an hour ago when I brought up the Steam page, mixed reviews. Not mostly positive, not mostly negative, not somewhat anything, not overwhelmingly anything, just flat out that ugly orange color mixed. The primary sentiments for the negative reviews that I was seeing are features have been removed. The addition of a battle pass has upset people, and I'm not an online gamer, but I understand the concept behind battle passes, and I would say I morally disagree with them. I just think when you release a game, the whole game should be there. And to limited features, some people were saying this feels like it should be just an early access game. Like it needs to be more stuff. And in Killing Floor 3's defense, from what I recall, I never actually played any of the Killing Floor games, but from what I recall about Killing Floor 2, generally speaking, is that it also wasn't what most people would call complete at the beginning. Over time, it became a beloved game that people spent thousands of hours in doing co-op carnage, but I wouldn't write it off just yet. That's all I'll say. Here's a really big one for me personally. Saber Interactive has announced that they are making a Hellraiser game. The original actor for Pinhead is reprising his role as the voice actor, and it stars, the player is Aiden, who has to venture into hell and navigate a corrupted Earth to rescue his girlfriend Sunny from the Cenobites. Clive Barker was consulted to hopefully make it a super, super faithful story. And it is a narrative-driven, single-player survival horror. Now, I am slightly worried about... Okay, I'll level with you. Hellraiser scares the shit out of me. Specifically Hellraiser 2. Because that girl, the blonde, in like the mental institution, she just likes puzzles. And she was given the puzzle box. And you go to hell for solving a puzzle? I love puzzles. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to get my nipples ripped off and my split with... Hellraiser pokes a very specific, deep-seated discomfort within me, which is the idea that you can go to hell for reasons other than just being an evil, bad person. Maybe it's about my religious upbringing, but any media where you can be like... So in Preacher, that kid Eugene, just because Jesse says, "You go to hell, Eugene," and it's taken literally and he goes to hell, I'm just like, that's horrible. Depending on how this is handled, I could be really affected by, and as a horror fan, that means enjoy fervently a Hellraiser game. Basically, it's just been announced, and then they announced like what the special edition stuff comes with. I haven't seen any screenshots or trailers or really any gameplay details other than narrative-driven single-player survival horror. Quick note on Dying Light the Beast: it has been officially delayed until September 19th. I still don't quite understand how Dying Light the Beast is supposed to be a thing, because it stars Kyle Crane 13 years after the Haran incident. But if I'm not dreadfully mistaken, doesn't Kyle Crane explode in a nuclear explosion at the end of one of the DLCs? Was it the following? Don't get me wrong, I'm happy Kyle Crane is back. I thought it was so weird in Dying Light 2 that it was just clearly the voice of Kyle Crane, but it was some guy named, what was it, Aiden? Real disconnect for me. I think that's a big part of why I actually didn't really get into Dying Light 2 as much as the first game. Played the first game several times through, all the way through, like front to back. Dying Light 2, I don't even know what I got to in there. It just didn't have the same oomph for me. So I'm glad Crane is back, but and I'm especially glad that it's leaning into like angry, brutal, nasty man combat. That's the best. I sound like such a naive little boy. The nasty man. He fights like a nasty man. All in all, I'm excited to play it. Glad Kyle Crane is back. Sucks that it's delayed, but it's not for that much longer. Now here's one that I added because I think it's hilarious. I don't play Fortnite, but evidently extremely dark and unsettling upcoming horror film Weapons is doing a Fortnite crossover event. I don't know what any of this means, but if you play Fortnite, you probably do. Integrate elements of the film's unsettling tension into gameplay within existing Fortnite modes like Troll Bed Wars, Warrior Tycoon, Easy Parkour, and Drive City. Does that mean anything to you? Are you excited? Let me know if you are and why. There has been a new Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th universe game and film announced. I believe, is it Horror Inc. that owns the Friday the 13th franchise? It's supposed to be a sequel to the Friday the 13th game that I think people still play and love, even though it's been like... due to copyright ownership, they had to stop providing updates for it. I never actually played it because I'm not a multiplayer gamer. Co-op, sure, but not competitive. I don't enjoy getting my ass kicked by real humans on the internet. Aside from literally what I just said, I don't think anything else is known. They just announced there's a game in the works, and I believe they are doing a film connected to the game or in conjunction with the game. One hypes up the other kind of thing, which is a solid strategy. We will almost certainly find out more later. And finally, it wasn't announced last week. There's been details coming in for several weeks now about Resident Evil Survival Unit. Right off the bat, am I going to play it? Almost certainly yes, because it's Resident Evil, my favorite game series in the world. But will it make me furious because it's a money-grubbing grind? You know, Into the Dead and Into the Dead 2 are two of the best mobile horror games I've ever played. Such a simple gameplay loop. Into the Dead 2 really, really nailed it. They added the different objectives you can do to get 1, 2, and 3 stars on each thing, and certain stars unlock the next things to work towards. Advanced challenges. Into the Dead 2, I didn't pay for Into the Dead 2 directly, but an ad-free version of Into the Dead 2 was included with my Netflix subscription. So I was able to download the ad-free, like the paid Into the Dead 2 version without any additional cost because I had Netflix. And a game came out. I don't know if it's actually on mobile. It's definitely on Steam. The Into the Dead Darkest Days or something like that. And it's a complete reimagining of that core gameplay loop of Into the Dead 2, which is basically you either tilt your phone or touch sides of the screen to run through zombie hordes, and you have limited amount of ammo, and you use the weapons, and you have certain power. Into the Dead 2, you get like a dog companion that can offer certain boons. I need to just like play Into the Dead 2 on this channel just to gush about it. Anyway, this third entry released, I think it's $25. It's a full release. It's not ad supportive, and it does have strategy components, but I haven't played it yet because $25 is a little steep. Go to my Patreon, please. But from what I've heard and what I've seen of it, it made the transition well to a non-ad supported thing. Now, Resident Evil games have never been ad supported. And they are now, it's not even canon, because we're talking about like Jill and Leon being in the RPD. No, the mansion. The mansion is the base of operations, like where you build your base and whatnot. And I get the appeal of doing this, and I can forgive non-canon. I can. That's not a problem for me. But when I went to the website for Resident Evil Survival Unit, and it says signing up for its little event, I think it started on July 16th and is going till launch. You sign up for social media or register for the game when it comes out. You get this list of things, and it's like wood, water. These aren't exact, but it's components. It's stuff that you undoubtedly need more of to build your bases higher. Now, if this game costs $8 on the App Store or something, and there are no ads, and everything is just earned through raids and doing, I would even potentially forgive a social aspect to it. I wouldn't enjoy it. I probably wouldn't use it a whole lot, but I would forgive it being there. But if this game is free to download, and you either have to wait 8 hours for gold or raccoon coins or whatever it's going to be so you can buy more wood, so you can potentially cut your 8-hour wait to 7.5 hours, and I'm going to be so mad, furious. And I'm going to be mad, but I'm not even going to be offended. You know what? I won't be mad. I'll just be disappointed. Well, folks, like I said at the beginning, there was a slew of information to share in movies and gaming, both, and with kittens. Anything that I talked about, game, movie, theater, VOD, whatever, even Anniversaries, drop it in the comments. I genuinely put a lot of it. Might not seem like it because I'm just sitting here reading off of a computer screen, but finding all this information and putting it on the computer screen in a place that I can read is a lot of work. And I only have one day to do it. I compile all this on Saturdays. I record on Sundays so I can post on Mondays. It's a really tight loop. So if you even learned one thing that you didn't know today, maybe hit the like button too. Just if you want to, but that's none of my business. I will see you next week for undoubtedly more horror news. But before that, I'll be seeing you on Saturday for my next episode of Dark Souls 3 for the first time, but randomized, which is, this next episode is a doozy. I finally hit the first real, how am I going to do this challenge? But I get through it. Check it out. See you next time. Thanks for watching.